We've got a very interesting one today. I don't know how many of you have seen it in the past. I think I saw it one time, and it is J.D. Sumner talking about his and Elvis's relationship, but more than that, defending the memory of his friend and the king of rock and roll. We're not wasting any time. We're going to jump right into it. We're going full screen. We'll come back and talk about it afterwards. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Thank you all for sticking with the channel. And here we go. This is J.D. Sumner on the Geraldo Show.
What being addicted means doesn't mean using it. It means waking up one morning and your body telling you, not you saying, oh, that's why it's the drugs, but your body saying, excuse me, I want them, I need them. And it's like having somebody inside you pulling and stretching and screaming. It's the most horrible thing.
Boy George, he said, I want them, I need them, I also love them. Elvis's great song leads appropriately to J.D. Sumner, and that's to whom your question is directed.
Right. J.D., I was wondering, did Elvis ever talk about that maybe he was going to die young? Did he know what he was doing to himself?
Live fast, die young. Did he ever think that? Or didn't Elvis think he was invincible?
Elvis considered himself to be an expert. He was like he was his own doctor. He was well read up on medicine. And he considered that he knew enough that he could do anything and stay within the bounds of that. So he never knew that he was addicted to anything.
I know you had a physician's desk reference, the Encyclopedia of Drugs. So did you, Mackenzie?
Yep.
Really?
Every year I got a new one.
Is that right?
PDR, oh yeah. I didn't go anywhere without my PDR. Yeah.
But you mentioned to start with that I was Elvis's drinking buddy. Elvis did not drink. And you knew Elvis from the time he was 14 until he passed away.
Little peach brandy.
One glass of peach brandy is all he ever drank.
But did he use it to wash down Quaaludes and Percodan and, you know, things of that nature?
Well, the only thing that I knew that Elvis took was Quaaludes, sleeping pills, and uppers, and very strong uppers. He would fire you for using marijuana. He detested cocaine. And he approved of me drinking because I sold him that my drinking enabled me to sing low. And I was a good salesman. I was the only man that could drink on stage. I actually had it to my right on stage. I had pure whiskey on stage. And I sold him that enabled me to sing low.
Well, I'm glad it didn't ruin your voice. You're going on the wagon there, J.D.
But I got to where I was drinking 2/5 a day. They say that the 5th a day will kill you. That is wrong. I was drinking 2/5.
Good thing, eh?
I was drinking 2/5 a day. And Elvis called me in and talked to me about it. He said, it's not hurting the show, but it's going to kill you. I'm concerned about it. I want you to lighten up on your drinking. But I had to get to the rock bottom myself. Like she said, that when you're in that condition, when you're a drunk or an alcoholic, nobody can tell you anything. You've got to hit rock bottom. You know, I almost...
I have to interject there.
Go ahead.
I have to interject. Not everybody hits that low of a bottom. There are high bottom outs also. I mean, recovering anything are all degrees. But the pathetic thing is that you really had to go to the bottom of your barrel. A lot of people have what we call a high bottom. And that is their own consciousness or their own
You mean they're functioning?
soul.
They can function?
You've got them on the streets, my God. I mean, please, I just was talking to someone the other day and making very good sense, and he was stoned out of his mind, but you know.
They're not functioning as themselves.
You're right, exactly. Exactly.
That's clear.
What was your bottom, J.D.?
I never got drunk. You could talk to me just like I am right now. You could not tell it unless you smelt it on my breath. I was the best alcoholic that ever lived.
But what was your bottom then?
Because when I got where I couldn't drink good, I'd get off and rehearse. I did a lot of drinking, and you could not tell it. I mean, you got to hit You yourself have
You
got to
complaining,
find-
you bragging now, JD. Now,
But he
I want to
could
know what the
tell.
bottom
We
was.
couldn't tell, but he could tell.
Well, but
Yeah, right.
I'm saying rock bottom. You've got to realize that J.D. Sumner has got a problem before you can solve it. That's what I call
Anytime
rock
you drink
bottom.
2/5 of anything a day, you got a problem.
Geraldo, if I may, just a comment on hitting bottom. If we have to wait till people reach that themselves, then intervention means nothing. I feel very strongly that if you can intervene on anybody at any stage of his drinking or drugging and force or coerce or get him into treatment, it is here where you can teach people that they
Yes.
don't have to go a way
Yes.
far way down.
Absolutely.
And they are with folks like themselves. They can be taught that they are sick, not evil. What they have to hit is a moment of truth, where they wish to decide to not drink more than drink, because I always tell people who feel they've hit their bottom, if you think you've reached bottom, pick up a drink.
Watch me now.
You'll find out what bottom is
JD,
about. I just
what
popped
would
the question.
Elvis have said? What would you have said if the Enquirer had picked up the story that you had raw whiskey alongside you during every concert, and here's Elvis taking, you know, all these awards from the federal government for his stance against addiction? How would you have reacted?
Well, of
If
course,
David Duffy had called you up and said, pick up the Enquirer next Monday, son, I got news for you.
it's pretty bad to how I probably would have reacted, or Elvis, either one, because I don't think that they have the right to expose anybody. What gives them the right?
Can I just say that, Geraldo? Geraldo, can I just... Okay.
I do believe that as you said, the freedom of speech and the freedom of the press. I don't necessarily agree with the emotional, personal issue of being outed, so to speak, but our Constitution allows for it.
Absolutely. The other thing, I'll let you in a secret.
I mean,
Look,
personally and emotionally, it's not helpful to the person.
the image
but
of the
legally
National
it's-
Enquirer, and this does happen, we do, of course, go around looking for things among celebrities. We cover celebrities like, you know, the Washington Post covers politics. I'm going to let you in a little secret from the chief snoop here. Sometimes I don't have to work very hard, because you may not realize this, Mackenzie probably does. Publicists, producers will sometimes call me in desperation, or call others on the Enquirer, and rat out, if you will, their own stars, because a big star like Mackenzie Phillips, with the problems she caused on the set, let's be honest, she was impacting on other people. She was very important. A lot of people's jobs depended on her.
Yes.
And they would call in desperation. You know how many times I've been called up and told, this star's getting too fat, do a story, please?
Did the people
Try to wake her up.
Did the people from One Day at a Time call you guys?
My lips are sealed. I'm in the business of telling secrets, not telling who
Let me
gave
list
them to me.
some of the other people outed in the pages of the Enquirer. Drew Barrymore, Gene Simmons of Kiss, obviously Liz Taylor, Jerry Lee Lewis. Now there's a boy that had a severe problem. I don't know if he's over it yet. Boy George, you saw him in the clip, Liza Minnelli, and Dennis Quaid. Dennis Quaid. You can tell us some of the stories behind this. David, I've got to take a break, and you're next again. Celebrity Addicts. Whose life is this anyway? That is our focus. Stay tuned.
We're going to jump right into our next part of J.D. Sumner on the Geraldo Rivera show. I think that you'll find this one very, very interesting. Without any further ado, here we go.
I want to know, if you're not doing it for the money or the publicity, why would you even bother?
I think the truth should be known.
Let me look at this. I'd love to hear this.
Yes. The truth should
Yeah.
be known.
That gentleman is the esteemed country music star. That's J.D. Souther right there. He is Souther, rather. Sumner. J.D. Sumner. J.D. and Elvis were best friends since Elvis was 14. J.D. Sumner. J.D. is a well-known singer and
No.
Everybody
he knows
lived
the truth.
a lie.
Sitting next to him, Joe Esposito.
You're the only one that lived a lie. No, I'm not hurting you.
Joe
Elvis
Esposito's
lived a lie
close
around Elvis.
friend and confidant of
You're
Elvis.
living a
J.D.
lie.
Denied the
Sumner,
drugs.
best friend since
Why would
early
you
on.
not deny, if you ever heard of this, J.D.?
We're not talking about drugs. We're talking about your
Let's get
Popeye's
back.
lie about him sleeping
Let's
with his
get
mama.
back.
Shut up. how can you sit there? How can you sit there in America watching you and tell such a blooming lie?
How could you sit there and let him die with the drugs and not
I knew him long before you did.
You probably did.
I was sung at his mother's funeral. I attended church with his mom and him. And you are lying, lady.
I was
you
told
have repeated
by,
a lie.
I was told
You're
by.
lying.
How do we know?
I was told by.
Wait a minute. First of all, I would love...
Joe Esposito.
Geraldo, I would love... She's broke. Her own boys told me she's broke. And she's doing it for money. What other reason is to do this? What would this help? How's this going to help anybody if Elvis slept with his mother?
Even if it were so, even if the first nth degree was so, which it is not, it would take a low-down person to reveal such stuff.
She wanted him, and he said, I'll put up with it as long as she's around, but she'll never take my mother's place, and I'll never call her mother.
What do you mean she came after him? What are you talking about?
Well, okay, she was married in Germany at the time to a sergeant in the Army when Vernon married her. And when Vernon met her.
Which she tried to seduce Vernon to leave her husband with.
He did.
She was married then.
Well, she left him for Vernon.
Yeah.
What? She left him for Vernon.
Take a break. Now, J.D., you allege that Dee flirted with Elvis?
That what?
That Dee flirted with Elvis in Germany?
No, I said that she was living with her first husband, Mr. Stanley, which I wish she'd go back using that name instead of Frank. She was living with him when she went after Vernon, and going after Vernon, she was after Elvis.
Good.
Let me just say one thing. Number one, I address you as Mrs. Stanley because you don't deserve to have the Presley name. Thank you. If Stanley...
About Elvis. If this isn't true, that will come out. But this is part of history, and it would explain all the dysfunction and how he ended up the way he ended up.
You mentioned that Goldman had written something similar to the same thing. Goldman's book is a lie. I was involved in Goldman. He even took some statements I made and made a lie out of them. It's either the truth or it's a lie. There's no gray area when you call a man a homosexual, and when you say a man sleeps with his mother. I just wonder that Judith portrayed Jesus Christ and got 30 pieces of silver.
J.D., did Elvis sleep with his mother? Did Elvis sleep with his mother, though, in a bed? No, until he was 16 and 17.
This is for J.D.
Quiet, please.
My understanding is you were friends with Elvis when you were young. How young?
No, not really.
No, for J.D.
When he was 14 years old.
Well, if you were a 14-year-old, when you were 14,
Not
if
me.
your mother was abusing you or sleeping with you, having incest with you, would you go and tell Elvis that? It's an embarrassing situation for Elvis. I'm not saying it was true. If it was or if it wasn't, I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt. But if this situation happened to you, would you be telling your friends? You wouldn't.
If this had happened to me, that I was sleeping with my mother?
Yes.
Well, my mind can't go there.
Correct. But when Elvis was 14 years old, he couldn't conceive of this
I
either.
knew Gladys. She did not know Gladys. I went to church with Gladys. I sang at Gladys's funeral. We were supposed to sing 3 songs. They were a very religious family. They had a glass covering over her coffin. Elvis laid over her coffin and said, "Mama, I'd give everything I got in the world and dig ditches the rest of my life just to bring you back for 5 minutes." And then for somebody to come up here and tell a blasted, blooming, confounded lie like that is sickening and disgusting. And every time...
Take a break.
The most intimate relationship, and he shared.
J.D., you got 20 seconds. They're the American people.
If you don't think anything of your own family and your own boys, which you have made sick, you have almost ruined your son's ministry, which he's a good kid. What about Lisa Marie? Did you ever love her?
let's get back to
Did you ever have any feeling for Lisa Marie?
I loved all of them. But JD, let's take it back. My sons
can't
have
take it
lived.
back.
No. The point, JD, nobody lived. Everybody around Elvis lived a lie.
I have been as sorry as you can get.
I have been sorry too about the situation.
And you're still doing a good job.
Well, this issue has to be.
Take a break.
I want to know if you're not doing it for.
How about that? That one still makes me pretty angry today. JD looked like he could have choked the life out of her with that. Everybody after the death of Elvis wanted a piece of him. They saw their opportunity to put things out in print, to put things out by mouth, to put things out on video that they would have never done when he was alive. And that even includes some of his inner circle. Some of his inner circle wrote some books and gave some interviews that were absolutely ridiculous. But, you know, at that point, the bank was gone. So instead of going and getting a real job like people do, they kept going out trying to live all false memories of Elvis. And then you had someone like J.D. Sumner who didn't need the money. J.D. Sumner has been a world-class bass singer for many, many decades prior to that. J.D. Sumner set out to set the record straight on his best friend. And I believe that wholeheartedly. And you could tell that he had a lot of anger inside of him during the filming of this. As I've said before, I met JD before, back in the 80s, and very, very kind man, although he was an imposing figure, very, very tall, but he was a very kind man, and anybody that I've seen him engage with, he was as kind as he could be for the star that he was. People to this day are still trying to cash in on the king. You know, I'm so sad that so many people have passed. Lisa Marie, her son. But I'm also so happy that his granddaughter is in control now of Graceland. And hopefully that part of the story will never die. Seems like a wonderful young lady, a star in her own right, actress, singing. She seems to have a good head on her shoulders. Taking care of her two younger, I believe, twin sisters. And maybe we can see with her and going forward some normalcy come and her go after the slanderous individuals that are involved in all of this kind of stuff. And nobody's saying that Elvis was perfect, even though it's hard for us to accept. We know there were problems with prescription medications, and we know that he did not understand what these would eventually do to his body. He did think he knew, you know, and he did the same thing everybody else pretty much done. during those years. He took stuff to go to sleep. He took stuff to wake up. He took stuff to go on stage. But as JD made it seriously clear, he was not a drinker. He hated people doing cocaine or marijuana and would not allow it. Even going so far as to talk to JD about his drinking. You know, I believe he believed he kept a clean ship, even though he was using those prescription drugs. I know for a fact that during those times, if a doctor prescribed you something, you felt like there was nothing wrong with what you were taking. It was prescribed by a doctor. It was your medication. It was not drugs. No one considered prescription drugs as drugs back in those days. It took many years for people to realize that, hey, this person is hooked on this, they're hooked on that, they're using this for the wrong reasons, they're getting high off of this, and all of those things. Let me know what you think about this particular video. Let me know what you think about JD's defense of Elvis. And let me know what you think about Elvis's stepmom. That ought to be interesting. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate all of you, and I want to let you know that we have about 70% of people who watch who haven't subscribed, but we have 30% who have, and that is extremely high. 30% in the last 60 days of you who watched are subscribed to the channel. And I think the average is somewhere around 15% for most channels. So I applaud all of you. I thank all of you. And we'll be back tomorrow with something else that I think you'll enjoy. Until then, God bless and so long from Music Wars.